answers the following questions. Question 1, is it the truth? Question 2, is it fair to all concerned? Question 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Question 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? So now I would like to call upon Retractor Vaishnavi to render the invocation.
Thank you, President. Hello, everyone. I'm Vaishnavi. I'm the Youth Service Director of MES Rotaract Club. So I'm going to sing the invocation song. Gambhira Gajavadana Gananatha Sukha Sadana Gambhira Gajavadana Gananatha Sukha Sadana Gauri Tanu Bhavana Gaive Punya Smarana Gambhira Vidya Buddhi Vidata Vedaagamatita Vidya Buddhi Vidata Vedaagamatita Adi Puja Prashanta Modaka Priya Vinuta Adi Puja Prashanta Modaka Priya Vinuta Gambhira Gambhira Gajavadana Gananatha Sukha Sadana Gauri Tanu Bhavana Gaive Punya Smarana Gambhira Karapididu Nadesanna Haratanu Javara Ganapa Karapididu Nadesanna Haratanu Javara Ganapa Uraga Chalana Shiradi Karavirisi Pore Deva Uraga Chalana Shiradi Karavirisi Pore Deva Gambhira Gambhira Gajavadana Gananatha Sukha Sadana Gauri Tanu Bhavana Gauri Tanu Bhavana Gauri Tanu Bhavana Gaive Punya Smarana Gambhira. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishnavi, for the wonderful invocation. So now I want to welcome our speaker for the day, Rotarian Dr. Krishna Kumar sir. I would also like to welcome our faculty coordinator and mentor, Rotarian Dr. Veena Nagraj ma'am, the president of our parent club, Rotarian Sumati ma'am, and our ZRR Retractor Srinidhi, who's here today to attend the webinar. Deemed it appropriate to have a talk on youth skill development and employability. So this particular topic is pertinent to the situation in industries of our country right now. We all know that India has a very good chance to displace China of its position as the world's factory. But however, achieving this only depends on how well our factory and our businesses perform. Skill development. Ironically, in India, we always talk about unemployment, whereas businesses and factories are always in shortage of manpower. So this whole gap between supply and demand exists only because of lack of skill development. Hence, it is very important for all of us to learn and benefit from today's webinar. So now I would like to call upon Retractor Divya, our Professional Development Director, to introduce her to the audience.
Hello everyone, I am Retractor Divya, Professional Service Director of MES Rotaract Club. Now I'll be introducing our speaker for the day. A mechanical engineer and a management professional with PhD in strategic management. He has 38 years of experience, has worked at top management or degree director level positions with Indian and multinational companies. He was managing director of an international engineering and project management company. His experience spans managing diverse industries in manufacturing, contracting, construction, and also in retail channel management. He has widely traveled across USA, Europe, and Asia, understands local business operations, is certified to be an independent director by the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Commerce, Government of India. Currently, as a business coach, mentor, and trainer, he helps and guides business owners to grow their companies bigger and better. Considering his vast knowledge and experience, his guidance and coaching are highly practical, pragmatic, and hands on. He is Rotarian from Orchards Club and active Rotarian from Bangalore. I am happy to present to you all Dr. Krishna Kumar, popularly known as Dr. KK, who will speak on the subject of skill development and employability.
Thank you, Divya. So without further ado, I now invite Sir to address the participants.
Okay, good morning. Thank you, Retractor Srinidhi, Retractor Sharanya and all. Thank you, Divya, for the wonderful introduction. I'll just give you a feedback, or at least I try to discover about this 15th July. So 15th July is designated as World Youth Skills Day. And this has been designated by UN. So December 2014, UN at the UN General Assembly, they resolved to declare every year 15th July as the World Youth Skills Day. The reason behind declaring this as a Youth Skills Day is globally we would be having almost 280 or to 300 odd million youth when they say the age gap of 16 to 24 years who do not have proper technical or vocational education or training. So the idea behind this has been to provide technical and vocational training. Therefore, the youth could be gainfully employed or they could be gainfully become entrepreneurs. So today, I will be taking you through the skills instead of the basic title which was given for this seminar or webinar. I just did a little change. I used it as skills, employability, and entrepreneurship. Why should you gain skills only for employment? Why not gain skills for entrepreneurship? So therefore, let's look at it in this way as skills, employability, and entrepreneurship. So before going into the details of what are the skills, what is employability, what is entrepreneurship, let's understand few definitions. Like any other college or class, if you are getting into a new word, you'll ask for a definition. So let's look at, borrowed some definitions and I'm giving it here. Now, what do you mean by skills? Ability to perform an action with determined results within a given time and energy. Here, I would like to add, sometimes skill should become a habit. For some people, it works out as a constantly developing oneself to improve a particular act. Say, for example, if Saranya wants to become a great singer, she has to have that skill of delivering Carnatic music, so for which she practices on a daily basis. So it becomes a habit. The habit converts into a skill, and the skill gives you the results. Okay, so now that is what we are looking at, making how good you are going to make the skill into a habit. So now, what do we call, why if you require skill, or what is employability? Can you not just get in employment without a skill? No, not possible. Some skill you require for whatever work you're going to do. Let it be even say, selling tea or providing tea. So whatever it is, you require some skill. So therefore, employability is being defined. Of course, this is a definition borrowed from ILO, International Labour Organization. So we are talking of what is called the skills, knowledge, and competencies which will enhance a person's ability to secure, retain a job, progress at the work, and also cope with the change. So currently, what is the situation? You have secured a job. You're not sure you'll be able to retain it because of, say, Corona or the COVID thing or any particular recession. You're not able to progress and you have to change. The change is not necessary that you're going to change the job. First of all, the job should be available. You may have to change or learn new skills. So that is what we are talking of, is how you're going to use the skills, knowledge, and competencies to get a job, retain a job, progress at the work, and cope with the change. Now let's look at that entrepreneurship. It's a very simplest definition, just few words. The act of starting a business, building a business, making profits in the business. That's all. Okay? But it's not so easy as said. Starting a business, building a business, or making a profit. Again, entrepreneurship also requires a skill. So, in the following slides, I'll be taking you through what are the various skills that will be required, and I will try to keep my talk to within 15-20 minutes, not bore you long, but post the talk, I'll be happy to let's use about 10-20 minutes for question and answers. I hope that's okay with you all. So next slide, we are going into understanding skills. What are the various skills? Because you would be day in and day out in your school, in your colleges, in your friend circles, everywhere people will be talking of skills. So let us, I don't want to go into too many skills, and which are again the subset of the different skills. I just define three major skills. Basically, your hard skills, the labor skills, and soft skills. So next slide, I'll be talking about the hard skills, and the following slides, it will be soft skills. I would only mention here what are called as the labor skills. I don't know where you're caught in looking at this labor skills as a new word, or you would have already heard about it. It is basically how good are you at doing a vocational work. It could be as a mechanic, it could be as a masonry, it could be as a plumber, it could be as an electrician. All of that also requires skills. If you're taking a vehicle for a repair, and if a mechanic is going to fit it well, you're going to tell about his skills in his labor. So therefore, there are some labor skills also involved, and labor skills need not be limited only to that labor guys. It could be even for us. It could be even for me. So I also have to have some sort of a skill, some dexterity in what I'm going to deliver. So now on the hard skills. So what are the various hard skills? And today there is a lot of confusion. People say that you require a hard skills. You will generally get hard skills in college, but you have to get the soft skills. The fact is, hard skills are equally important and very important. Let's look at the hard skills. Completely, whatever you are talking of, either in your engineering or technical knowledge, your medical knowledge, law, accountancy, literature, journalism, general arts, all of this and more, what you read, or the music, if I'm putting it into general arts, the music element. These are called as bunch of hard skills. Why are they called hard skills? Because you can quantify them. Okay, that is, you are going to do 12 years of some schooling, then some 4 or 5 years of college, and then post-graduation or a PhD, etc. So you are quantifying it. So there is some sort of it is quantifying, and you also get a certificate. You don't get a certificate as a good communicator, okay, or a good labor guy. That's again a part of the hard skill element. So it's certifiable, and you can define it. You have got, say, for example, you may call somebody as a BA, LLB, or a BE, or whatever. You can get them a certificate. You can define that he has done a so-and-so engineering. But then the importance of hard skill is in how you apply it. The way the education has evolved over few 100 years or few 10 of years recently, where there have been so many changes. The hard skills are equally important for you to go to the top. And I am trying to borrow a particular taxonomy given by Dr. Benjamin Bloom, who in 1956, as a educational psychologist, he came out characterizing the hard skills in a way. How do you take it up? One, the entire process it goes through remembering what you have read, understanding it. So you learn some coding, you understand how that coding has to be done, etc. Then you get into a job, employment. You know how to apply whatever you have learned, either in terms of IT knowledge or whatever knowledge you would have had. Now, what happens is people who are able to move from here to the upper levels are the guys who are going to the top of employment or on entrepreneurship. Because generally, we would see that almost 70% of us would remember, understand, and we remain at that applying level. Few of them are able to analyze what they learn and they are going to use it for creating. In the recent days, I think you all of you would have seen something called as a mobile printer. The mobile printer is of something like this. That's all, of this particular size and something like this, which you can carry it in your bag. It is again Bluetooth enabled. So when you're sitting in a restaurant, you don't have to take a big element. So you get you get a document, a text document on your mobile. All you have to do is simply link it up and put a white sheet under this one, and this fellow will start running and becomes a printer. So somebody has learned it and he created something new. Today people are creating so many new things. So therefore, the hard skills is the technology. But then what happens is it sufficient? Because somebody at the hard skills level, if he has to really shine and grow, there are what is called as the basic rocket or an engine which takes him to be there. It is not sufficient for you to go to the top. The essential element is being at the top, remaining at the top, and succeeding for a longer period. Now, how do we do that? It is through a bunch of soft skills. And what are the soft skills we are going? I'll be talking through. Communication. Today, day in and day out, people have been talking about communication. You have communication classes, and their communications are a number of sub-communication things are there. Verbal communication, written communication, body languages, how do you learn, how do you talk, what sort of words you are going to. There's a plenty of things in communication which you have to, because it is the communication which is, unless you don't communicate your thought, your idea, another person is not going to know how good or or to what extent you know the subject. It is very essential when you sit across either for an interview or even as an entrepreneur also you require to have a good communication. Listening. So this is something of a very important element. Listening skills is not just like a communication, because some guys who can listen properly can give a proper reply. Otherwise, if our listening is not good, we are not be able to give a proper reply. So when you go into an interview, when you say the employability and facing an interview, you're good in communication. If you don't listen to what the interviewer or the person who is on the other side of the table is asking you or suggesting you, sometimes what happens is an answer lies in the part of the question itself. So if you are able to listen to it, you will be able to take the cue. So you need to develop some listening skills. This is very, very important. Time management. I'm very happy to see today more than 50 odd of youngsters joined the webinar before 11. Okay, or by 11, almost we had 50 odd people. So that's a wonderful time management. It is not just for the webinar that you have been on the time management. Can manage your day completely. Or if you tell somebody that you're going to meet him at 10 o'clock, be specific at 10 o'clock. We have a specific, a different time management in India. I will meet with you between 11 and 11:30. So, what exactly it means? So, if Sharanya tells Srinidhi that she will meet him at Navrang Theatre Junction between 11 and 11:30. So now, should Srinidhi come there at 11 o'clock, or will she come at 11 o'clock? Or Srinidhi comes at 11 o'clock and she comes at 11:25, and she will say 11 and 11:25. So somebody is wasting a time. So we in India, this is called the Indian Standard Time. We have to learn to be specific, because we say 11 o'clock is 11 o'clock. That's it. It cannot be between 11 and 11:30. Around 11 o'clock, I will talk to you. Well, what is around 11 o'clock? Is it 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock? Is it 11 o'clock? So this time management is a major issue with us Indians. But I'm saying I've gone almost something like about 38, 39 years I've been working. So when we call for a meeting in an office and we tell them, guys, at 10 o'clock we are having a meeting, it is 10. That's it. It cannot be beyond. So in some of the companies where I had started, so we said if somebody comes in at 10:05, we would give him a 50 paisa penalty. 50 paisa penalty, because you cannot get that 50 paisa coin anywhere. I don't know if any of you guys have seen a 50 paisa coin, but even at that particular time he has to give. That's a very valuable element. You're not able to. Time management is pretty essential to what you are talking about at time. Personality presentation. Now, this is one element. I think that today's youth are not very clear about it, or they don't care about it. If you look at any of your, just consider your parents or even your grandparents, when they show their old photos, you'll always see them in a very tip-top condition, very neatly dressed, properly shaven, a nice maybe a haircut and things like that. Or even if you see the old movies, the heroes and all were very pleasant looking. Only on off late, of course, no offense to Srinidhi and all people, you'll find a lot of guys with beard, having a beard look, some sort of a dress, and they consider that you have to be natural. Please, that's not the right thing. There are some guys who be natural. That is, don't have to cope. You just be like that. So therefore, when you go to an interview, the interviewer will like your naturalness. No. So don't get carried away by that. Try to have a good personality, because if you are wearing a good personality on you, your behavior will be good. Okay. So if you are wearing a proper suit or a boot and going on, I don't think you'll start spitting on the road or using a tree on the road for whatever work you want to do. Okay. You'll be very careful. Why? Because the dress, because of that particular dress, isn't it? If you're just with some sort of a Bermudas and a Hawaii chappal and a half t-shirt going around, you do all rubbish on the road. Why? The personality. Therefore, try to have a good personality on yourself. The emotional quotient is what you would all have heard about it. Maybe some 30 odd years back, we had Daniel Goleman mentioning or coming out with EQ, social intelligence, or something on this. Here, basically trying to say, how are you giving an emotional element, trying to be with how do you talk to the people, trying to be empathizing is what we are talking. Interpersonal skills. Try to understand that each person's behavior, his words, his way of talking will be different from the way you talk or So therefore, here we are trying to understand. Some people will be very fast in talking, some would be slow in talking, or some may use different words to connote something, which they're confused as to what do you mean. So then they'll have to say, no, that's not what I meant, but this is what I meant. So by the time you're trying to explain somebody a meaning of something or the word influence, what happens is the impression changes, the way you are mentioning changes. Therefore, you have to get into some interpersonal skills. And most important element irrespective of whatever it is, be ethical. That is also a skill, trying to be ethical. Okay, just get it into your habit. If we are able to get some money, how do we, if there are a 2,000 rupees note fallen on the ground, what do? You just pick it up, put it in a pocket. If you are not able to locate anybody else, do you think that you can at least use it for donation? Okay, don't use it for your personal
30
gratification.
paise is going out in the form of
Right.
investment
So-
expenditure as 30 paise.
Oops, somebody. So we are looking at be ethical and learn the good habits of ethicalness and integrity. So now, those were the bunch of, they are just saying a limited element. There are other skills like life skills, personal skills. I don't want to go into those elements. So now let me look at now having said that those are the few of the skills what you require. What do you mean by employability skills? Is it that I have those skills and therefore I'll get into employment? Yes, you may get into the employment, but staying in employment, growing at work, and able to adopt and change, you need to again learn or gather more skills. And what are those skills in the employability? Is what we'll be talking now is the aptitude. The aptitude element is something which is within. There are two elements. There is an aptitude and an attitude. These are two elements which are skills which has to be inborn. It is not something like you go to a class in a hotel or in your college or wherever, and you will have some sort of a speaker, a wonderful speaker going and talking to you about aptitude and attitude. These two things are not the skills which you will gain by practice. These are something from within you have to develop it. I can tell you that you need to have a positive attitude. Okay, I can talk about on a whole day about various positive attitudes, how the positive attitudes improve. But then the person should have a positive attitude from within. It cannot be taught. Same thing is with aptitude. The way aptitude is in terms of the skills of learning, the interest to learn in a very positive way. So when you're in an employable, when you're in employment, the first two elements which will be there, you have to have is a very good attitude and a very good aptitude. Always remember, a wonderful attitude and a positive aptitude will take you to a high levels. Again, communication, how, in terms of how you are writing an email, how you are putting a PowerPoint presentation, how are you sending a communication to your friends, colleagues, and seniors. So a different communication element. Teamwork. Now, this is cognitive one. People should say you need to have cognitive skills. What is this thing called as cognitive skills? Why do people confuse with all these cognitive skills? Now, technically, I don't want to go into the details because there are a lot of guys who have written. Again, the basic element of cognitive is how are you able to memorize, be proactive, how are you able to visualize what you would have seen. One of the few examples is I would have met Sushmita, and Sushmita, after one day, I just forget who I would have spent half an hour talking to her today. The next day morning, I have forgotten her. So I'm not even able to recognize. Again, she cannot come running and say, hey, hello, KK, I am Sushmita. And then I try to wonder, where do you think I have met you? So I'm not able to recognize. So what happens is that cognitive skills, there are n number of things. But here what we are talking about, when you are into employment, you should be able to recognize your colleagues. You're able to memorize their names. You're able to meet them. You're able to know how the work happens into it. The problem-solving elements, which anyway in your colleges you will be going through learning it. Decision-making is an important element, or a decision-making skills is an important in employment. When you are a team leader, you need to take some decisions. You cannot keep going back to your boss or your immediate supervisor or a manager and ask him for decisions. Start learning how to make a decision. You go to a shop, a vegetable shop, try to make a decision, right or wrong, what vegetables you have to buy. You're going to a cinema theater and you have a number of movie shows happening. Try to say that what decision you are going to learn. Okay, so there are what are called as different decision making itself. People say the art of decision making is there is a science of decision making. You know, like your today's data analytics and all is a part of that. So you have huge number of data, and how do you just do a statistical information to say which decisions you have to take based on this data. Leadership. So as Rotaractors, I'm quite sure that most of you would have gained something called as a leadership skills. You would have developed it. Try to improve upon it. You know, in leadership skills, they will say again a number of leadership skills. Either you are a democratic leadership, or happy-go-lucky, or are you an autocratic leadership? So there are different types of leaderships, and these leaderships happen not only by way of learning or by way of practice, it is also from within, how you would have seen it as a culture in your society and how you have lived. So an important element for your employment side. The previous slide, I mentioned about ethics. Now, for your employability, be and grow and adopt to the changes, integrity. Ethical skills and integrity skills are highly important. Now, we are not looking at the soft skills, learning of the soft skills, the employability skills, and today, all of you 70 odd youngsters or more people who are on the panel or are attending this session, why not entrepreneurship? Why should you always say that I need to learn some skills for employability? What do you think? Why not going in for entrepreneurships? Because if you're looking at today, most of the unicorns are all started off by the youth. They would have got some idea. And a good number of those particular companies, let it be unicorns or tiny cons, that even you becoming a 10 million or some sort of a 100 million sonocons, so many unicorns they have come out with. Okay, so now you need some entrepreneurship skills. So I will dwell something on those entrepreneurship skills. Now, business management, learn about it. Okay, I don't want to go into depths of all these things. I'm just mentioning these words, and maybe end of the thing, I will share this PPT with Trinity and Sharanya, and people who may like it, they may collect it from them. Business management skills, again, teamwork, leadership skills. As I have seen in entrepreneur, somebody gets into a beautiful idea. Okay, let me. Unmute.
Sorry,
Okay,
you are
sorry. Yeah. I just saw that. I had to unmute again. So now on the teamwork. So therefore, I'll again come back. Let's say that Divya comes out with some new idea and some sort of a commercially viable idea, and that can start as a company. If she's not a teamwork person, or she's not able to lead, or somebody who says, come on, man, now let's lead, let's conduct a webinar, or let us conduct some sort of a workshop somewhere, let's conduct an event somewhere. If that leadership skill is not there, or even if she has a leadership skills and that leadership skill is of autocratic type of leadership skills, do you think the team will work? For an entrepreneur, you need to develop a proper teamwork and a team leading leadership skill. Then again, communication and listening skills, because you may have your colleagues giving you some new ideas, so you need to have a listening skill. A customer service skills. Most often, this is the very, very important. You cannot say that I don't care about the customer, and the customers I don't have to buy what I do. This is not service. The companies have in entrepreneurship, you require a huge amount of customer service. Financial skills. Please, some of you have to learn some basic financial skills. whatever be your background, what is getting credited or debited, how much money is coming. Most of the companies you would have seen are closed down because of very poor financial skills. They outsource, they'll think that, okay, I have Srinidhi or somebody else who is having an financial outsource company. So therefore, I would park my money there. So that gentleman, he does not know how to manage your finance. You should know. Okay, you can give him to manage the finance, but you should know how to see those finances, how to understand. So for an entrepreneur, so a few basic elements, what we're talking of, understanding business management, teamwork, leadership, communication, customer services, financial, and analytical and problem solving. Imagine, this is something word which every time people will be using. What is this analytical problem? And you will have a lot of books writing out huge amount of problem. Believe you me, in an actual business situation, you will not have any complicated problems which will come up on you. The problems happen because you are not managing certain things on a daily basis. A construction site, if it is not managed properly by processes, systems, and controls, that will lead into a big problem. Maybe an accident at a site, maybe some programming itself is wrong. So it's not. So how do you solve it? You need to get the guys together and analyze that particular thing. Again, you work on it. How do you analyze that particular problems and solving it is where again that a word what we're talking about decision making comes in. Critical thinking skills. Because today you will be faced with a situation, or today everybody says, imagine this COVID will be here for another 3 months or 4 months. How long do you think? The last 4 months we have been talking how long? And after 4 months, still we are asking how long. We just nobody knows about it. So if this is the situation, how do I manage my organization? So this, how do I think about it? How can I visualize? A lot of visualization is required. Strategic thinking is basically for making out different choices. If I take this route, will it be successful? If I take another route, will it lead me to better success? So now strategic thinking is making the right choices faster, effectively, in a focused way, better than your competition. So if you're able to do those things, that's what we mentioned. It's not just a strategic thought process, it's also planning skills, technical skills. Again, imagine the time management, what I mentioned. And we are looking at branding and networking as an important element. You have to brand yourselves. And therefore, that's how the branding, networking goes about it. And with this, I conclude. Thank you so much. Almost I took some 10 minutes extra. I'm open for questions. I'll stop my screen sharing. Thank you for your patience.
Is having a small technical problem, I guess. So on her behalf, I request the audience, if you have any questions, please use the chat box and let us take up the questions through the chat box. Or if you want to talk, you can raise hand and we will unmute you. Please make use of this best opportunity to talk to Dr. KK, sir.
I had somebody raised his hand earlier, a few minutes back. Any questions, difference? Okay. Okay, now there is a question by Rotractor Helvi or Hetvi. I'm sorry if I'm not able to.
Rotractor Hetvi Gala from RID 3142.
Okay, does financial literacy and yeah, obviously. Yes, financial literacy and entrepreneurial skills, they do correlate. You need to have some basic financial literacy. So, for example, today, if I have to take some companies like Food Panda and others, or I don't want to use a lot of names, but anyway, the Food Panda has come. Those companies they messed up their finances. They almost some 100 odd crores of rupees investments came, And today, are you hearing Foodpanda? I don't know how many of you have heard of Foodpanda, but Foodpanda is one of the early companies like your Swiggy or Zomato, what you're talking. They're the earlier companies who got into hyper-local delivery of food services. That company simply vanished. Another guy called as Snapdeal. Okay, Snapdeal also messed up. They had an opportunity, they would have joined up and become a bigger part with Flipkart, and they again messed up. Not why they got messed up, because their earlier finances, they had borrowed almost 800 crores, of which 600 crores were burnt, and nobody knows, there was no trace of that money. So now there it was, they could have gone into a detail to find out, or some sort of a payment receipt, or where that money would have gone, either for advertisement or for making a, hiring of people or putting up more officers, something like that Snapdeal would have done. But then what happened actually was unethical practice of 400 crores were swallowed. Okay. And they had to do lot of bill book developments. If you remember a few years back, they came back with what is called as a box, a red box, and they sold the Snapdeal box in box delivery. And just to get that concept of that red box delivery, they spent 100 crores. Can you imagine that they spent 100 crores to advertisement company to get that red box concept? So what happens is financial literacy, integrity, and ethicalness is required for your entrepreneurship. Thank you. Do you think India would have an economic future like the USA? Oh yes, 100%. You see, if you look at the US entrepreneurs, a huge number of them are Indians. Not only are they Indians, even in India, today, if you're looking at so much of entrepreneurship development in India, you have plenty of them. Yeah, their economic future is very good, but here the success of trying to be like in the employability success I was mentioning, to remain as an entrepreneurship, you need to have the right amount of passion. Okay, the passion what you get at the age of 18 or 20 or 22 or whatever particular age, the passion has to continue for a longer period, and you should be able to rub off that entrepreneurship passion within your team. And don't get confused with the passion and the obsession. Okay, passion is a positive feeling. Sometimes obsession becomes a negative feeling. So we can, yeah, it's only how much you guys can try to involve and learn, and never feel, get some good mentors, get some good mentors. And if you find success, don't get arrogant. Okay, that's something which I because I have been talking and meeting a lot of SME companies. So what happens with them is the initial success, they would have told I became arrogant. I started bad mouthing my workers or my colleagues. The partnerships break, the relationships break. Okay. Every person, whatever you do, right, even if you are going to make right from starting selling a pakoda on the street to a restaurant in a five-star hotel, or a huge digital organization you're going to open, success will come in the first few years. That is what we use in an English phrase, lady luck. When you get that lady luck and when you get that particular success, hold on to it. Don't get arrogant, don't get obsessed. Okay? So we are Indians lagging in entrepreneurship, soft skills, or they're hesitating. Okay, this is basically how you guys learn it up in your college, school, etc. Entrepreneurship, you guys have to have some sort of a skill development. A bunch of it. Maybe in your college or whatever, as a group you are, there will be some coaches like me who will be available. Today you have some sort of a digital media available. You can have a chat with them. How do we develop these elements? You don't have to sit for a 9 to 5 session to learn communication. Few important elements, at least if you learn, develop them over a period of time. A habit development happens by slowly, daily imbibing about it. So, for example, driving a bike or becoming a, like as an exercise, maybe you do for first few days 15 minutes, then half an hour, then it becomes a 1 hour, like a religion. You just follow it, a habit. So habits start from small way. Okay, so there is another question. So that's how your entrepreneurship has to come. Did Kingfisher Airlines downfall just because of bad decision making or any other reason? Okay. That's a very big organization's question you have asked, Sushmita. So therefore, what happens is a Kingfisher's downfall was not because of decision making. There were many other factors which contributed to the downfall of Kingfisher. So decision making is an art of the various decisions which were taken. Some were good decisions. Some decisions were made in an organization. When you are able to take a decision for the organization is important, not for the person as a owner. So therefore, there are two elements. I am an owner of an organization. I take a decision for my benefit, then it becomes a wrong decision. If I take a decision for the benefit of an organization, then the organization grows. So there are two different elements in terms of those decisions. So decision making is an art. You have to learn it. Like as I mentioned a little while back, even if you go to a particular vegetable shop, can you really make a decision as to what vegetables you want to take? Simple things. Today is a lockout, so you guys have to go to a shop and buy something. Learn the art of decision making there. So can survival be regarded as an indicator of entrepreneurship? If the small business runs below the opportunity cost, survival, during pandemic, many companies are shutting down, layoff happening in large scale, employability opportunities in Bangalore. Okay, so fine. So I will put together all of these questions and it will be the same. Yeah. Under the current pandemic situation, okay, what happens is employability is tough, surely. Okay, so therefore, what are the people asking? What skills can you learn? Okay, so if you're in IT and you have learned some particular skills, can you upgrade yourself from Python to Python Plus or whatever be the new elements? Can you get yourself some new certificates? Okay, can you learn a habit of communication? So for example, people have a very good experience. They do not have an ability to properly make a resume. Okay, how many of you can really make a proper resume of which can really communicate? Say in your 1 page or 2 page, how precisely can you make a resume that will show out, so that as soon as I pick up somebody's resume, okay, so I should say, oh, this is Mahalakshmi's resume or Nidhi Gowda's resume or somebody's resume. And I should say, I should be happy to. So learn it. Get some new skills today and don't get desperate at this situation. Learn, get your health improved. It's okay. This is 1 year is gone. Even for me as a business coach, I have also lost 6 months. Okay, there's no job, but then I'm still doing some sort of like a free service. So there are a lot of companies who call up. Okay, I help them, give them suggestions. So in so far as the organization, the small scale and the small medium scale industries, their financials were badly managed, resulting that they never had cash always in their bank. So they were invoicing, they were getting money, they had some bad customers, a lot of outstandings which they have not collected from the market, and the clients have closed. So there are some financial issues which have led to organizations tight financial positions today, economic tight position. They're not able to take. So now what happens is because I suddenly landed up with a couple of lakhs of rupees, I spend that money. I go and invest on a flat, or I go and invest on a new bike or on a new car, which is they're not a revenue generation. Any investments, please remember, can it give me some sort of a revenue? So if I get some money and take a new flat, either I live there or I should be able to earn something from there. So most of the in the industries, whatever happened, they made money in the past. Okay, as I mentioned, like a lady luck, lot of them made lakhs of rupees and crores of rupees, but they used that money into the lot of personal assets investments. They would not, and wherever the people have invested back into the organizations, those organizations are growing. They don't have any problem. Okay. So entrepreneurial orientation, one dependent as a dependent variable. What exactly you mean, Gala, as a dependent variable? Why should the entrepreneurship be a variable, or is it a dependent opportunity? I don't know. Maybe you guys can just think about how you guys can, few of you can come together and start an organization. There can be simple organizations. Whatever you learn. Maybe for even that short period, you can earn something small monies. You can. Do you think there's an impact of career adaptability through? No, there should not be, ma. No, Srinidhi, you had asked impact of career adaptability to other. No, not necessary. See, there have been situations that some youngsters would have started an organization. Someday they did not succeed for different reasons. They go and join an organization. They go for an employability. They take an opportunity to go into an employment, and what we call as the word is a new word. What we call as intrapreneurs. So within an organization, you can behave like an entrepreneur. Can you work that this organization belongs to me, and therefore I will develop this organization? So if you can become an entrepreneur also, it will be a great growth. So you can move between employment, career, or going in for entrepreneurship. What is Arjun Iyer advice for middle class to make money work for them? So what exactly middle class to make money? Money works for everybody. It is how you are going to save it, and use that money for the right usages. Whether you want to spend a lot of money on a high-tech television, is it worth it? Or do you want to spend high-tech money, a lot of money in a environment where you can use it for your development and growth? So because I see most Arun, okay, I'm a little. It is because I see most middle class families with rising income. That's good. If people are getting good money, that's good. It's a happy thing. Only thing is, don't spend rising incomes. Don't spend money on something which does not bring you appreciated values. So, for example, I have known Manoj Gupta, a good friend of mine. He was working with Adarsh as the director sales. He got some nice bonus, and he put that money. He already has a Volvo, not Volvo, yeah, Volkswagen Passat. It's a good 2-liter engine, wonderful car. So he got some money, and because he knew the sales manager in Mercedes, because that fellow purchased a flat from him, and he got some commission. He went and put the money on Mercedes. What is the use? After 3 years, there was a recession in Adarsh. He lost a job, and now he has to sell away a Mercedes, for which he has spent about, say, 62 lakhs, and he had to sell it off for 40 lakhs. Who lost money? And imagine if the same money, even if he told that 40 lakhs, he would have booked a flat. He could have sold it back. It would not depreciate so badly. And when you're already having, don't waste money on stupid things. Keep money. Okay.
Sir,
Sorry
sorry
for
to
interrupting.
Okay. Time
Shalini,
up.
please.
Time up.
yeah. So sorry to interrupt. Would you prefer it? Do you have the time to answer all the questions now? Because we're getting a lot of other questions. Or would you prefer it if they emailed it to you so you could help them out?
That's okay. I think there is one question. What I'm saying is from Mahalakshmi. Okay. Let me, unless it's getting bored for you guys to talking about it.
No, sir, no problem with this.
So I can read or I can go on. I don't. It's okay. The next meeting is only at 2 o'clock, so I can finish this habit and start at 2 o'clock again. So no, that's okay. I have time. So now Mahalakshmi asks, what kind of problems will be faced by an entrepreneur? Okay. Now, what kind of problems? First problems would be whatever product or a service you are developing, have it correct, a proper business model for it as to what will be its pricing, what should be the revenue model, how are you going to do. The first element of any entrepreneurship is revenue modeling and pricing of your product and services. That is one bucket you will put it. Another bucket, please spend time to find out the customers. So we use a word called as business myopia. The business myopia is a word taken by from Professor Theodore Levitt, who coined marketing myopia way back in the early 40s, 50s, based on how the railroad were functioning. So what happens there is identifying your business into a larger perspective. You get an idea. Please spend a lot of time planning on the business, planning on the product services, planning at particular prices on one element. The other element is your customers. If you get right customers, you will succeed. But then you will get the right customers only when you involve, keep writing down their names, finding out a background of those customers, and having a communication document so that you are able to communicate positively to those customers and they should say why they should buy your product or service. Okay, so these are some of the things you will find. Of course, there will be some financial issues will be there. Plan your finances very tightly. Thank you, Mahalakshmi. Okay, good. Any more questions?
I don't think so, sir. I
Okay.
think everyone.
Okay, good.
There's
I
another
hope.
question, sir.
Yes, Naren, you have some question?
No, sir, no. It was all
Okay.
free.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. I hope it
Question
is.
in the chat box, sir, from Praveen P. He asks, India has banned Chinese products. Could you please tell us how India is ready to give every product at a cheaper cost like Chinese product? A question from Praveen P.
Okay, I don't know what is what. Okay, so for example, the banning of the Chinese product or the coming of the Chinese products or the word what we day in and day out here called Atmanirbhar Bharat, resilient India or self-sufficient India. These are not the new slogans of this particular time, Praveen, and all the friends, all the other 66 friends or 67 who are on the webinar now. This particular resilient India, self-sufficient India has been going on for the last 40 years. Okay, so for various geopolitical reasons, Indian development has not happened. Indian business developments have not happened. Industrial developments have not happened. So the Indian industries, if they develop and if they know how to manufacture, a little while back I was answering Mahalakshmi's question, the pricing, okay. And in case of China, what happens is a very secretive country. I have been to China a number of times for various products and collaboration agreements with China a number of times. Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou, Shenzhen, all so many places. I don't even remember the name. So what happens there is the government funds a huge amount of money to the industries there. There is no accounting. Okay, there is the banks there. If the government wants money, they simply go to a printer and the printer prints the renminbis. Okay, and then because it is a very opaque country, there is no way that any World Bank will be able to assess how many millions of notes those guys have printed. Unlike in India, you have so much, everything is, if Reserve Bank of India, Mysore Mudranalay, if they print a 1 lakh crore extra money, you will have somebody asking a question, why did you print extra money? And you will have 1 week of shouting and howling. So, whereas there, what happens is the government helps them. The actual product value is different and the sales value is different. In India, the element, we are not we are making them as a competitive prices. Second element is we have to improve on the quality. Okay. Third element is unless and until you don't increase your prices and the economy itself doesn't increase, your value of it will not come up, Baba. Today, say for example, when you had single screen theaters, if you go to a Moviland or Majestic cinema theaters and you pay 50 rupees, since your incomes have improved, you still go to an Orion Mall or a Mantri Mall or whatever and then pay 150 rupees for an equivalent movie, or maybe pay 250 rupees for an equivalent movie. Okay, the class of it has to change. That is where the pricing element changes. People will make more profits. Your purchasing capabilities will improve. If your purchasing capabilities will improve, your living lifestyle will improve. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. I think all the questions have been answered. So my takeaway from the things that you said now is that it was great that you stressed upon so many factors that we tend to overlook, such as the way we present ourselves, the way we think, our ethics, our attitude towards everything. So there's still a lot for us to learn and put it into action. So now I invite our zone representative, Protractor Srinidhi, to address the participants.
Thank you, President Sharanya, and really happy to be listening to Sir the details in depth which he has provided to us on this World Youth Skill Development Day. Very happy for that. I will not take much time, but I wish to share my experience with the youth in few words. So I run an academy, and it's like an organization, and also as a small part of my venture, I connect the job providers and the job seekers. So whenever I get a request or when there is a job opportunity, when we call for the employability or people who are searching for a job to apply, we get mails which are very raw, which is very incomplete. Say, especially with respect to engineers, since I'm an engineer. So we get resume as a subject and a resume attached to it, and they send it. So one thing which I would like to share here through this platform is the very first impression which you're going to create in any job is the mail which you're going to send to the job provider, your employer. So make it beautiful, not in terms of colors, but make it beautiful in terms of the value. Put a proper subject, put a proper body, introduce yourself in the mail, and let the resume also be impressive. So this is the first impression which you're going to create. There are people who, without even sending the subject, they just attach the mail and they will send and finally blame that they are not getting any job. It's not that there is a dearth of job. It is that we don't know how to approach. There is a huge ocean of job. There is a huge ocean of job seekers. There is no bridge between them. So it is, as youth, our responsibility that we inculcate certain skills within us so that we connect this gap. So tell it to your friends whenever you have time that they need to understand certain things like writing a resume, writing an email, The district is providing you a wonderful opportunity, and I guess your club has registered for it. If your club is paying 50 rupees, the entire club, any number of people can take up email writing workshop, that is this Sunday. So make use of such kind of opportunities which Rotary Rotract provides you, and take forward certain good things from workshops like this. One more very important thing is the confidence in which you talk. Be confident, but there are some videos which shows attitude is important. To your employer, they'll be happy to receive you to their companies. So think in that particular aspect. And the last point which I would want to touch on is Rotract is a wonderful platform for you to develop yourself completely. It's an overall development, I can say, from organizing an event to budgeting of an event to executing it and also reporting it. You will learn everything which you actually do in a company when you join any company. It may be even your entrepreneurship. It may be your own startup. The same thing what you're going to do in your company is what you will be doing up in Rotract or Rotary. So take up this wonderful opportunity and learn more and more things through the Rotract platform. So once again, happy Rotraction to all, and best wishes to the MAS Rotract Club for organizing a wonderful event. And thanks to Krishna Kumar sir for agreeing and being here on this platform. So I hand it over back to the president. Thank you, Sharanya.
Thank you, Srinidhi. You gave us a lot of points to work on and implement in the future. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Rotractor Srinidhi. I now invite Narendran, the secretary of our club, to present the word of thanks.
Hello, sir. Hello, guys. Thank you, sir, for this illuminating webinar. In your busy schedule, you have given us your valuable time for our betterment. You have truly given us a lot of lot to think about and work on. The slides which you presented was very useful to us, and the question and answer session, which was which was a key factor of this session. Indeed, it was very much needed at this present situation. It was very good session. Further, I would also like to thank our faculty coordinator, Rotarian Veena Nagraj ma'am, for not only supporting us in organizing this event, but also being here and attending. I would also like to thank our Rotarian Sumati ma'am, who is the president of our parent club, Rotary Bangalore Northwest. And I would also thank our ZRR, who has been our pillar from the start. Thank you, Srinidhi, for this wonderful session. At last, I would also like to thank all the participants for today's webinar, Rotractors, non-Rotractors, and everyone else for this for your valuable time and giving us this opportunity to present you something. Thank you so much.
I guess we can take a group pic before we could leave. And also I would like to thank the ZRR of Zone Chalukya, who is here, Rotractor Prajwal M, without whom even I am incomplete. So we both are the ZRRs for your zone. So once again, we can take a screenshot if all of you can turn on your video, or if most of you can.
Guys, we request you to turn on the video. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
So thank you, sir, again. Thank you, both our ZRRs, Rotractor Srinidhi and Rotractor Prajwal, and thank you all for attending. And if there's anyone here who hasn't already filled the registration form, we urge you to please fill it in as soon as possible. Thank you.
And if anyone has left out with the form, please message us personally. We have given all the contact number there. You can get it through us. Thank you everyone. Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
So much, sir, once again.
Bye bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.